Well, beautiful humans, we've got a really interesting topic to discuss today on RidersDX, and that is the brand new Fairly Oddparents revival coming out called Fairly Odder. And so I think this trailer came out yesterday, as far as I know, and it's definitely elicited quite the reaction towards everyone. But I'm here to tell you why I personally don't think that this revival might not be so bad, because the reaction, I will say, is clearly very, very negative. I mean, the announcement of the live action Fairly Oddparents revival was met with a lot of skepticism in the first place, but the reaction, I gotta say, is very, very, very negative. Like, it's kind of crazy how universally hated on this revival is so far, and so I wanted to kind of dive into it a little bit and talk about some of its more positive qualities and, kind of keep an open mind. It might not be as bad as some people are making it out to be. But of course, I wanted to also go through some people's opinions and get a good census of what people actually dislike about this revival and what are some things that people might actually be more fond of when it comes to this revival. But like I said before, the initial reaction is very, very negative. There's a lot of trashing on the show on Twitter and such, and so some of these tweets are very, very hilarious, but also very, very, I guess, heartbreaking for fans who might be a little bit more into this revival than others. So basically, they're combined the Fairly Oddparents with the Thundermans, which nobody asked for this. Viv Turner and his sister are cringy. The animation on all the Fairies looks cheaper than the final season and the live action movie trilogy. They better not do Danny Phantom next. What the hell is this new Fairly Oddparents show? When I first saw this in my subscription feed, I was legitimately caught off guard with this as I was just waking up. After watching the trailer earlier, I honestly wish it was a dream that I abruptly woke up from. How did Ned's Declassified end up having the most natural looking live action Fairly Oddparents than the actual live action Fairly Oddparents? That new Fairly Oddparents show trailer is genuinely one of the worst things I've ever witnessed. I can't even joke about it, it's so bad. If you think that's bad, some of the comments actually revolve around Timmy Turner, who definitely has an interesting look in this show. No one at Paramount learned a lesson after the Drake Bell Fairly Oddparents movie, I see. Timmy from the Fairly Oddparents live action looks like he's gonna try to sell me his used vape behind the school gym. Ain't no reason that grown ass man got Fairly Oddparents. Also, not to incorporate logic into a corporation's decision for a kids show, but wasn't the whole point of Fairly Oddparents that he would lose them when he grew up? As much as you could defend this show, I can't defend Timmy Turner here. I mean, it was one thing to have Drake Bell on it and then to have him go through all that controversy later on and just really soil the image of the live action films, but to have someone that literally looks like he's selling you drugs at a school playground is actually it's just funny, I'm sure the actor didn't really mean to do that. I'm sure that's just his face. So that's not really something he could help with. But man, Timmy Turner here, he doesn't look like someone that you want your kids to hang out with, just off of first impressions. Maybe he could have a slightly different face, or just, not smile with his teeth like that. I don't know. I just found that to be really funny, the fact that Timmy Turner looks like that. But he's not even going to be a big part of the show anyway. I'm sure he is just there to pass off the Fairly Oddparents in that initial pilot episode before the show goes on to do its own thing. Before I go into what I personally think about this revival, I actually found some positive, or at least slightly more positive comments on Twitter that I wanted to share, and so here's what some of those people had to say. Yeah, we get it. It's live action, big freaking disappointment. Now everyone just be happy that Fairly Oddparents is back. To be honest, I really do like the idea of that Fairly Oddparents sequel series. I don't know about the execution, but Timmy passing down his fairies to a family member sounds really sweet. At first I was iffy, but this might not be awful. I really don't know what to say about the new Fairly Oddparents show. I guess it's cool to see Cosmo and Wanda animated in the real world, but that's the only thing about it that really had me something to say about it. We even got a quote from one of the screenwriters on the show who was not very happy about the reception the show was getting. Working on the Fairly Oddparents reboot has really ruined my childhood hot takes for me. Not that I had a fondness for them to begin with. I wish people could have seen how hardworking and passionate the cast and crew were for this show. Trust me, it's going to be fun. So after going through all of that, what I personally think about this revival is, yes, at first sight, it does look a little jarring. I mean, the Fairly Oddparents was always a very goofy show, but this show seems really goofy in a different way. What it really reminds me of is like a Disney Channel show from the mid-2000s. It reminds me of something that could have been there side by side with like Hannah Montana, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and all that stuff. And so from that statement alone, it does seem like something that could have appealed to me if I was a kid, but I feel like that that style of show has sort of overstayed its welcome and is a bit outdated now. The show definitely looks like something that's sort of like the combination of the Dundermans and the Fairly Oddparents goofy style. I think that tweet really hit it on the head. That's exactly what it is. Would not be surprised at all to hear a laugh track. I mean, the show just looks like it's filmed in that kind of style, and so there's probably going to be a laugh track. It's probably going to be that kind of show. I know it's not what people really wanted with a Fairly Oddparents revival, but I feel like if they just went back to the classic style, then I'm not really sure if that would have been that good either, because the Fairly Oddparents really was just overstaying its welcome when it was ending. The show was just so fresh out of ideas, you know, trying to throw all these new things in there and trying to make it more fresh by adding like a new character, new plot settings and such, and it just really wasn't working. I feel like the original show's idea kind of just ran through with what it could, and there's just nothing else it could have really done to really make that show continue on. And so I do understand why they're going with something different to try to see if that's going to rejuvenate the series and, you know, keep it going on, because the Fairly Oddparents is a very big property. There's still lots of people that check up for it. There's still lots of people that reference it every day on internet culture and such. It really does make sense why they'd want to go with some new idea instead of just bringing back the old show, because the old show was just run into the ground, and I'm not very confident that if they brought it back it would be any better, because I feel like they tried out all the ideas they could have with that show, and there's just nothing else you can really do to bring that original formula back unless you basically gave it completely different characters, completely different setting, and I don't know, just something completely different either way. So at least in this way, it's something that continues on the original Fairly Oddparents continuity. I mean, you have Cosmo and Wanda there, which is great because we love Cosmo and Wanda. I think it's really great that they're still going to be retaining the show. I mean, it wouldn't really make sense for Timmy Turner to come back, at least to a full capacity, because we kind of seen what Timmy Turner does. His story is basically told. There's really not much else you can do with him besides follow him as an adult, but following him as an adult doesn't really make much sense because, well, you don't have Fairly Oddparents when you're an adult now, so that doesn't really make much sense. And so I do think the idea for the show is not that terrible. I do think that it makes logical sense as to why they went in this direction. I will say though, the live action setting is going to take some time getting used to, because I really did enjoy the original completely animated aspect of the original show. I think some of the older episodes are absolute classics and definitely big staples in my childhood. That this show is just going to be something completely different. It's just naturally going to be something that I don't think is going to appeal to a lot of older fans of Fairly Oddparents. I think what they're really trying to do is try to gain a new audience by reintroducing Fairly Oddparents to this current generation. And so whether or not this method really works remains to be seen. I just don't see this appealing to older fans that much, but I think some newer fans might be into it. It definitely still retains like the classic wacky feel of the original Fairly Oddparents. It's gonna look a little odd, I'm not gonna lie, and it just doesn't look like something that I'm personally gonna be really into, but I don't think the quality of the show is going to be immediately bad. I think that it definitely has the potential to sort of take that feel of the Fairly Oddparents and bring it to a new generation, but I don't know. It does look okay. Like, I don't think it's going to be terrible, but I don't personally think it's going to be that entertaining for me personally. Like, I think I'm just a little bit too old for this kind of show at this point. I used to go crazy for these kind of shows when I was a kid. I love these kind of sitcoms, but I feel like they definitely overstayed their welcome and they're just not that appealing to me anymore. But I don't know. I will give it a chance at least. I will give it a time of day and judge honestly as to what it's like and see if it's something that I could find some enjoyment in. But I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the style personally. Like, I know the Fairly Oddparents couldn't really come back the way that it was originally intended. Like, the show was basically run into the ground, but I'm not really sure if I enjoyed this style either. And so I don't know. I guess I wasn't really sure how I would want to see the Fairly Oddparents come back if it ever did come back. So that's my thoughts. I wasn't really a big fan of the trailer when I first saw it, but I will be open-minded to it. I think it does have some good qualities to it. Cosmo and Wanda are definitely looking really good. I think that cross between the 2D animated world with the Fairly Oddparents and the show's live action feel is going to look really interesting, and I think potentially they could have some really humorous visual gags with that as well. So we'll have to see how that turns out. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do y'all think about this reboot so far? Do you all like it? Do you all not like it? Let me know why or why not. And we'll definitely check it out when it comes out and see what it's all about. But just yeah, you know, when I was a kid I always wished I had Fairly Oddparents. Like, that just sounded like the coolest concept ever, and I can totally see appealing to kids of this generation. But I don't know, we'll see if this show like turns them off or onto that idea. But all right, discuss away. Thank you so much for watching this video. Special shout out to my patrons, New Gamer Hub, Team Rattle Sign Gamer, Trash Q, Claw84. These are my patrons / YouTube members. If you'd like to become a patron or YouTube member, get access to a whole bunch of different perks, and please check out the links in the description box below. But alright, this is Riders, riding out.